Ah. Nå.
Farligt ud, der bliver sol.
Nu er jeg lige blevet ringet hjem af datteren.
Ja.
Jeg sætter mig...
Ja, det er stadig.
Kan jeg bytte med dig og sidde der, så vi har kameraet derovre?
Så fint.
Hvis det var. Øj. Nå, åha. Ej. Det vender man så til.
Ja.
Vi kommer lige sejle igen, så er det mennesker, der ligger der?
Åh.
Og heldigvis kun en jakke.
Ja.
Var det en jakke? Nå ja.
Så hun havde tabt en jakke.
Ja, nå, hvad hedder det?
Det har jeg desværre været med til. At finde noget, der var i. Det skal du ikke. Slet ikke en, der har ligget længe.
Nej, men ja, det er lidt scary, ja.
Det er virkelig ubehageligt. Og jeg får det der spjæt, når jeg bare ser en sæl eller et eller andet derude. Ikke? Altså, at der er der noget andet, ikke? Og,
Om ham der røg i op, var det ikke Helsingør havn? Svensker, ja.
ja, det var jeg.
Jo, men alle tanker går igennem. Det var en svensk ung dreng, der røg i havnen oppe i Helsingør. Det kan ikke komme op nogen steder. Kan det ikke komme op? Nej, men er der ikke det? Det var bare lige det første, jeg tænkte.
Det går så hurtigt, for du har drukket alkohol, og du kollapser i det der. Du ser alle ulykker. Det er jo det.
Ja, folk er fulde.
Det er fulde ind på land.
Han var i byen sådan en fredag aften i november.
Jamen, de er væk.
Og han forsvandt. Og han blev først fundet i februar, inde i voldgraven i Kastellet. Så han skulle også lige ned og pisse. Og så laver man lige et hovedspring, og
Så er det det.
Ja.
så får man kommet i chok eller et eller andet, ikke?
Ja, og så drikke vand til vand, så begynder du at hyperventilere. Ja. Jeg synes, du er frisk til lige låne et håndklæde. Ja, lige låne et håndklæde.
Great. Perfect. Just so you guys know it's recorded and it's on the Facebook Povanet, my site, and it's also being linked to Sejlcenter Niva, so you should be able to go there and look at it. It's live, so it's not going to be edited.
We were unable, I was able to find the previous link at least on Google.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The thing, I don't have access to Sejlcenter Niva, so I tag Sejlcenter Niva, and then I think somebody has to approve it before it goes there, or otherwise it's on the site Povanet. Thank you guys. It was really awesome going out there, and it was nice that it cleared up, and we were able to have really good sailing out there. In my mind, very shifty, a lot of things going on. So it's difficult to sort of they won all the time, or this happened, or what was going on in that sense. But there's a lot of things we can take from this sailing that we did now and put in our bank and use for the next time. And most important things are for me is the preparation. Like really make sure when you go down to your boat that everything that might not be okay. There's a little pin, if there's little this, if there's things that are not okay with your boat. It's a club boat. Everything is different. Somebody else has been out. Somebody left it in a mess. There's always things on these boats that are not 100% where you really wanted to do or what you wanted to do by yourself. But you can achieve more of it if you do something. So whenever you put effort into the club or into the boats, that pays you back, and you can find other people that will do the same, and all of a sudden we raise the level of the boats. I think most important thing for these ones that we at some point get established some markings on the deck for the jib, so we really can figure out where we are on the jib, because there's a lot of difference in a centimeter trim on the J70, maybe a centimeter and a half on the J80. But there's a lot of difference of what happens when we do this or when we do that. That would be really nice. Then the next step gets to the rig, and we start adjusting the rig tension. There's also a lot of things that can be done there. One of the boat has a headstay that's a little bit too long, so the mast is too far back. But we're still talking maybe half a centimeter in those 7 meter headstay. Like maybe half a centimeter. I don't think it's more than that. But if you change the headstay by 1 centimeter, the geometry means that the jib card is about 4 centimeters you change. So there's a lot. When you change a little bit here, everything changes there. If you open up the jib sheet half a centimeter, oh, it's 2 centimeters up on top. There's so many things that varies if you have a little bit here and there. If you cannot ease the backstay because the rollers are tight, then you have other issues. It's just all these little things that we need to make sure in order to get the boat to move. So that's not going to be a problem. And that's something that will be nice to make sure that we, at least in the springtime, get all that sorted out. There's also the tape markings on the spreader bars. It's really nice to see where you're at, so you can replicate. And the whole thing, again, if you have all those markings, you can replicate. If you can repeat, you can improve. So it's all about repeatability. Makes it a lot easier when you guys jump on the boat. Like, oh, dung dung. We're not as fast now, okay, but we're in the vicinity of where we're supposed to be. Let's just move a little bit out and see how the boat goes. Okay, now we're feeling okay. So you're not inventing the deep dish every single time you go out. Sort of. Yeah.
Markings on the spreaders, you use that for what? For seeing how open sail is?
Yeah, so that's a reference point. So I always do that on pretty much all the boats. So where the jib lead goes into the first block, and then it goes back, and then from there it either goes directly to the block or to the winch or through another block. I often use that block, the last block or the last winch, put my head on it, and then I look up. Then I can see the leech, the back end of the jib, of how open it is and where it is on the lines of the spreaders. On some boats, North sails, Airstrom sails, all of them, one sails, they all have a sticker you can actually put on where it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can put that on top, and then you're like, yeah,
On the bottom of the spreader.
on the bottom of the spreader. And then you can sort of have your little laminated thing saying, okay, I want the sheet at 3, I want the line up there at 2, I want the halyard tension on 4. So you know, in 12 knots, okay, bam, 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 we're sort of where we're supposed to be. And then you can of course change, oh, there's a little bit more waves, there's a little bit here and there. But if you have those numbers, it's just really nice to have that recipe of how we're sailing. And that's also why I like to have the markings, the setup on the boat, but then also just do stitching on the jib sheet. Make sure that they are spliced in the end, so you don't change with a knot. So you actually have that same loop, and then have stitchings of where it's supposed to be. The problem is if you then go out and you sail sailing league, where you're provided a boat, you have 4 minutes to go. Then you have to replicate that for yourself. But I also use tape markings there, but not on the deck. Then I'm sort of right before the end of the block with the sheets. That's why I put my tape marking. And then I know, okay, it's a little bit lighter. Then there's a trick on, especially the J70, because you can't do it on the J80. Then if you ease the halyard tension, so you sort of trim your jib where you want it to be. If the breeze increases, you just give 3 centimeters more in the jib halyard. If it decreases, you ease 3 centimeters in the jib halyard. That's sort of the difference you need in the more pressure or the lower or the less pressure, unless you want to jump in and retrimming right away. So when you're hiking or you're sitting there and you're straight lining and everything's great, a little bit more wind, oh, just give it a tad bit more on the halyard. That tightens up everything. and you can go in the more breeze, and you can ease off a little bit there. So that's sort of your first easy step to change. Regarding that was sort of a little bit of the setup where we really need to get that going, to get those tape markings done. Tape markings on shrouds, not shrouds, bowsprit, tack line. When you pull the spinnaker up, get that tape marking so you know, okay, it's on top, so nobody has to look. Every single thing we do out there has to be, we need to expect that it's going to be chaotic. And it will be when you're rounding the top mark. You've got 4 other boats, and you're pulling the kite up, and you're not sure if it's all the way up. Then you've got 3 people looking up at the same time. Somebody's rolling you, and oh, I want to jibe. That's going to be crazy. But if you can then pull it, dong, it's done. Then focus on something else. That's what we really want to do. We want to round the bottom mark, pull also the mainsail, have tape markings on there, pull it in, done. I can do other stuff. So we immediately are ready to do other stuff. And if we're not doing other stuff, at least we can move our weight around. Right? We don't want to be sitting there and looking and are we sort of where we're supposed to be? Like get it to that marking or that set and then continue. I think that's also one of the things we need to do before we even start racing. Check out your boats. Also, at least one of the J70s that's white in the bottom is not very, very white anymore. It should be washed. There's a lot of speed that you lose on that. The black one, you can't see it. I think all the boats needs to come up. In Hellerup, even through the winter, all the J70s are up every 2 weeks and just cleaned off. There's a lot of things but you can do it if you do it every 2 weeks. It's a 35-minute job. It's literally go to the crane, back down. It doesn't have to take 2 hours. You can do that and drink a lot of booze while you do it, or a lot of coffee, but it doesn't have to. All these things can happen really quickly. And even rigging a J70 should be 7 or 8 minutes. Right? If you go there and you're really efficient, like, okay, here's my kite to the sheets around, ready to go. It doesn't have to be an hour. Then you go out sailing, then you de-rig, and we need to have as much efficiency going on so we can come down, go sailing, and come back in again. Everybody's busy in their regular life. So even having one guy saying, okay, I'll do it on Sunday. You come down, the boat's ready. One person has done it instead of 4 people looking around. I know it's social, but is it worth it for all of us? I think that's what we did earlier on. Just really got that sorted out. When we get to the start, getting those ley lines, and that's what I've been talking about before, but it's also one of the things that you mentioned today was sort of getting that reference line. So I have my starting line here with these marks, and I divide it into sort of sections of where I am and where I would like to be. So let's say we have our starting line. The wind is coming from you directly down towards me. Then I have my committee boat or my windward ley line. I know it's about 40 degrees to the wind around here. I have my ley line to the pin end, about 40 degrees. I go down and I do my ley line. I sail upwind. I look at what's my background. What can I see on land? Where is that supposed to be when I race? That means that I also know if I round the mark here, let's say 2 minutes before the start, or I'm close to here 2 minutes before, I can sail on that line down. I can do a tack. I'm going to be, or a jibe or a tack. I'm going to be very close to that ley line. I know where I'm supposed to be. The same down here. If I know where my background is, it's a little bit more dangerous here, because if you end up too low in what I call the red zone, if you're to the left of that ley line, then you're lacking the ability to come back. It's very difficult because there will be other boats here, and there's no imaginary or magic trick that's just going to lift your boat up and put it inside the starting line there. So that's a very dangerous place to be. So you have your red zone, and that's where you really want to be careful of getting to that very early There was a few of you guys that were sort of cruising down the line. I think you were doing it in one start. No, never cruise down the line. But then that sort of knowing, okay, I'm getting close to my background or something like that. Like, okay, we cannot bring the boat further down because we're going to be below ley line. And knowing your ley lines are really nice to have, even if it's 5-10 degrees different of the angle. Just sort of, okay, I've got that chimney on land, it's a little bit to the left of that chimney, or that spot of ice on there, or the green grass, or something like that. Okay, this is where we go. This is where we want to be 1 minute before, and then you can get an overview, because then you're not looking at that. Then you're looking at something else. So it's also the simplification of everything. We had that start. I think you were in the J70 here. We kept our distance. I really like, if you are on a boat in the start, and let's say I'm the boat to the right, I really like building my distance out. My key is, if I can be coming down towards the other boat, let's say half wind to upwind, at full speed like this, it's very difficult to be this boat. What should you do if there's a boat cruising along like this at 5.5 knots and you're laying here at 2.5 knots? Very quickly, they're going to bow down. If they bow down, to avoid you hooking them, there's going to be open up a whole new area to the right of them. That's what we did. So we came in very speedy. I think it was you bowed down quite a lot, and then like, oh. Then we overshot and came up behind and put us at a spot up here. So by being aggressive at that point, we can get our start to the right of them. But it started a minute before when we were out here, because I built that distance, made sure I have enough to do that. If we have just went straight at them, the fight would have happened down here. But this is sort of, oh, I can wait, patience, and then go back at them. But you still need to remember the time. But yeah, that patience of just hanging out here. Even the worst case scenario, you have the whole fleet starting here. They're going to be starting probably at 3.5 knots. We're going to be coming in at 6 knots. And we're going to start second row right behind them and then do our attack right away. You're going to be just as good as the boat right in front of you if you come around the committee boat like that. So there's all these things. It's just nicer to be out there than being down here, covered and where you have no option to do anything. Out here, you have options. And if a hole opens up further down, you can often bow down behind the fleet, because you're going to be sailing a lot faster than them. They're going to be 2.5, 3 knots waiting. You're going to be 5, 6 knots coming in. I think that's a positioning in the start. I still have my own personal way of doing it, and that means that if you have instrumentation, it's really nice to ping the marks and know where you're at, even for training purposes like this. Try to figure out how many meters are we from the line at 1 minute before. Where should we be? And that's all the practice starts. Now, we did a few practice starts out there today, but in what I would do is, even at a standard race, a fun little race, I would probably do 4 or 5 practice starts before that first start, just with myself. Rounding a mark and say, okay, 2 minutes, go. Then go down, figure out where are my ley lines, what are we doing here, and then get going. And then do it back again. Figuring out that acceleration, that means quite a lot. So I think the practice starts that we did now, I think that's something we should continue with, and then get into that habit of using our Velocitech or whatever instrumentation we have, of pinging the marks, figuring out where we're from the line and how fast do we actually accelerate. Is it 12 seconds? Is it 15? Is it 25 seconds? How much do we need to get to full speed? And then work our weight. We know when we're coming in out here and we are on port tack. We're going to be tacking or we're going to be jibing. Let's say that we're jibing. We know that we're coming around, and we know that at some point we want to accelerate. Let's bring everybody to the left of the boat as you're cruising along. No reason why not to. Everybody to the left of the boat. Call's going to be, okay, ready to go, and go. We're bowing down, boat's heeling over. Nice heel. Everybody's still to the left. 2, 1, and then you jump up to the right. That means that 3.5 knots, that turns into 4.5 right away. And we're prepared to do it because everybody was in the right position to do that. So we saw that this was coming 40 seconds before, a minute before, that we want to do that lift. The same when you're rounding the top mark. We know we're going to round the top mark. We know we're going to be bowed down a little bit. And we also know we're going to heat up the boat. We're rounding the top mark, putting the kite up. Everybody step to the left. Boat heels over. Automatically the boat goes closer to the wind. The angle is smaller. And then we do our 3, 2, 1. Everybody jumps up. And you went from, what did we do? We went from 3.5 knots to 5 point something.
Yeah.
Like that. So we forgot, we was like, stop cleaning, stop doing anything, go to the left, do that pump. Now we can start doing it. And as soon as the boat is at speed, then we can start cleaning, we can start doing all the other things and get ready for the next maneuver. But we need to get that speed. We need to round the bottom mark, get that speed, and then we do the rest. Everything we do, get the speed first, and then we can start doing other things. Then we can look around.
And it's everybody. In this wind, it's everybody doing the pump, right?
Everybody's doing the pump. Of course, if you are, let's say, on the downwind, you can have the driver steering and the spinnaker trimmer sitting there. I would prefer them to walk inside, but if they can just move their upper torso in and then back out again, there's a lot of momentum just in that. You've got 300 kilos on a boat that weighs 630 kilos, right? So it's a big percentage of the boat that you can move. It means a lot. Getting down to the 600 kilo boat, let's say 900 kilo crew, 900 total weight of the boat, 10 liters of water, 1%, 5 liters of something, 0.5%. There's a lot of things that we have on the boats of different things that are slowing the boat down, weight-wise, movement-wise. Worst you can have is water. Water on the boat, it's always negative. It always moves to the low side. If you have your crew gear, if that could be tied and not move on the boat, that's something, but it's still extra weight that you need to move around in every scenario. And everything we do out there is today we might have a little bit more distance, but when the boats are completely optimized, what we're looking for is 4 meters, 2 meters, little things here and there, and that is your crew gear. Let's say you're doing the sailing league. Oh, I'm bringing the crew bag along, and you chuck it in the boat, and that slides around down there, and the bag weighs, I don't know, 10 kilograms, and then you have 10 kilos of water because people need to drink, and we brought the snacks as well. Like, yeah, but how much do you need for three races? Let's keep that to a minimum. Just a bare boat, don't need anything. I'm the person on long distance cruising. I give people a plastic bag, a very small plastic bag. This is what you can have on the boat. You cannot have extra shoes. You cannot have extra clothes. The boat has all these things. This is for you. But just a bag weighs 1.5 kilos. And then you bring 5 people with all their bags. And then you bring shoes. And then you bring, all of a sudden you have 20 kilos of stuff. Right? It happens very quickly. And then you get to bigger boats where you have 15 people. You go, oh, there's 50 kilograms of stuff that we didn't need. Those are some of the things. But I think we should really, if you can get all the maneuvers of movements, getting that lift, try to get the boat dynamically around the race course of walking from one side to the next. Every time the rudder moves more than 20 degrees, we need to have some movement of the crew. Right? That's because we're doing a tack or a jibe, or we're bowing down to do something. So you should immediately think, okay, can I assist on like the surfers do, on giving a pump in some way? And that really helps out. It makes it a lot easier to drive when all of a sudden you're doing 5.5 knots.
How often are you allowed to pump like that?
You can facilitate a turn. That means if you're turning the boat, you can assist on turning the boat. So it's a very loose definition on that.
And there was also no limit as to how much towards lured you can hit the boat.
No.
You don't have to stop.
But if you start doing like this,
Yeah,
you're gonna be in trouble. But you can facilitate a turn, and one of the biggest things in sailing, we are not sailing according to the rules. We're sailing according to what the umpires can see. It really is like that, and I'm sorry, but that's the way it is, and it's on camera and everything. It is the way it is. So remember, you see pressure coming. I'll just walk down to leeward a little bit, heel the boat over a little bit more. Then the pressure hits the boat. Boat heels over a little bit more. Instead of then I'm walking back up. Two people that all of a sudden went into the boat. They're jumping to windward because now the wind is coming. You get a lift. So that movement is allowed as well. The boat's better because I'm down here. It wasn't good enough. I'm jumping back up again. So in all these situations you can do it. Otherwise it's one per wave or one per maneuver, or one lift is allowed. But the whole definition of facilitating a turn. What is facilitating a turn? You're helping out a boat to turn. Moving in and pushing it down again. That's what you do, and that's actually what you're doing with the trim of the kite. You're like, okay, got pressure now. 3, 2, 1, weight up. You're not pumping. You're moving weight around. If you at the same time were using the sheet and sort of pumping the boat forward, that would be an issue. But weight-wise, you're never going to be in trouble for that. I would definitely do it all the time. If you look at some of the TPs or the bigger boats, when it's really light, the whole crew sits in and they're like, So you got 15 people sitting like this at the same time. What's going on? They're just praying, right? Yeah. Those are the crews that win. You have so much force to assist there. The other thing, so now we've got a rudder, we've got a keel, everything is great, we're going along, and then remember your rudder is actually pretty big on all the boats, on the J70 and on the J80. J70 is sort of a magnet to cavitation. There's a lot, it sucks in air as soon as you start moving it around, and then the whole thing the flow disappears, and then you want to do even more on the rudder. We really want the boat to be straight. We really want to lock in the rudder so we're not moving it around. That micro adjustment, the looking over your shoulder things that helmsmen often do, it's a disaster to look at when you're standing there like, just keep it straight, just don't touch it. And if you are to look around on the boat and you like to freehand your tiller, stabilize it, look around, do other things, and then bring it back up again. The freehanding and then doing stuff doesn't work, because then you're like, and then you look up and then you're doing your micro correction first, and then you look down, do something else, but the boat continues turning, and you look up, and then you're sort of totally out of whack in that. So we really need to get those consistent movements of the boat. When you're turning around the bottom mark, or you're doing a jibe, like, it could be that you decided for a slow angle or a fast angle, but as soon as you start putting your rudder out, and we really don't want the rudder to go from straight, ready to tack, 3, 2, 1, tacking, and then you go like that. That ruins, even in a small movement, it ruins everything on the flow of the rudder. If it's ready to tack, 3, 2, 1, tacking. That's it. Like, slowly out, complete your entire turn. Dung, center it, 3, 2, 1, coming across. We don't want the and the whole stop of a maneuver where you're already slow. That sort of ruins the boat even more. So rather have a too slow movement on these boats and then get that lift to accelerate. We need to remember, if the wind is coming from up here, we're sailing like this. Let's say we're sailing at, slides better, we're sailing at around, let's say, 4 knots. And then out of the tack we'll probably be doing 3 knots, right? So all that distance when we're going like this is moving us up the race course. Of course, if we go really slow, it's not moving us up the race course. We're going to slow down completely and never accelerate again. But you're doing 4 knots, and then you're maybe doing 3.5 at the end of head to wind, and then you might be doing 3 knots out of that tack. But then you have all your weight down, and then you do a lift, 3, 2, 1. You're back up to 4 knots. So you gained in that distance as well, even though you were slower, but your VMG was okay. You didn't need to throw the boat around. So it's okay to do a slow tack, get that right angle, get up to speed again. So don't worry about being too slow. The quick one, where you go like this and then you do your tack, and you're going to be slow because you threw it around. And yes, you might just be 3 knots again, but you lost that distance. So it's okay to be slow around. Same with the downwind. Your jibe, doing 5 knots, putting your rudder maybe 10 degrees out, not 20, maybe even more 5. What we really want to do is be slow, 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 getting the kite out, and quicker than any of you guys did today to pull it across. We need to start our pull across earlier on the kite. So it's full when we're dead downwind with the mainsail opposite. And then the main should come across, but it should only be stopped so the end of the boom doesn't go outside the boat. And you keep your rudder at the 10 degrees. Boat's going to heat up, 3, 2, 1, and you do your lift, and that lift really accelerates forward. As a driver there, keep it straight at the lift. Be sure that your main is not too loose, because then you're sort of just pumping and there's no sail actually helping you out. So make sure everything is tight, and the whole rotation was to bring the boat back up again. That whole distance, it's when the wind is coming from me, it's just building, you're still moving the right direction on the race course. You might be slower, but our end goal is to get there, and in your jibe, you're still moving the right direction. So don't worry too much about it. The angle is good, and it's nicer for the crew. They do have time to do stuff, and it doesn't feel like they've been thrown around and almost thrown off the boat in some of the maneuvers. But we have to remember, this is also what we want to do in every situation. If there is, let's say, an upwind, starboard boat coming here, wind is coming from you now, and I want to tack. If I go up here and I do my tack, throw the boat around, this one's just going to be sailing right over you. You have to be able to do that slow, and that's the whole game of bringing you as close to the other boat as possible, and then doing your lift, and then be at the same speed and be able to push him off. That's your lee bow. That's one of the important things to be able to do when we get to the next level and up the race course, where we hopefully can get some more boats. Because having 3 boats out there and one different than the others, it's difficult to get that setup going. I think you guys felt it when we were stabilizing the rudder, going upwind, and sort of, okay, now we were able to get speed. You were at least driving really nicely there, and sort of just, I'm getting a little bit of a header, putting it in. It's okay to be sailing a little bit high, and then the boat will slowly come down and still be at speed. When the breeze picks up, the boat heels over, don't do that. Try to save it. Like, okay, let the boat move again. Wind is coming from here. Let's say the breeze picks up, hitting the boat. The boat really wants to head up. Let it head up a little bit. Figure out, okay, opening up the main. Oh, I'm slowly coming back down again, stabilizing. But all that distance is good. It's okay. By putting your rudder and forcing the boat down, you're just going slower forward than what you could do. Let the boat move. Give it that free range of motion. And then sort of guide it. So you're sort of just guiding. I really want to be a little bit lower here. So you're just giving a few centimeters, a little bit down. I want to be a little bit higher, a little bit up. And then you're adjusting with the sails or your crew weight. Crew weight can really move the boat around a lot. I think next time, if you can persuade them to do more starts or something like that, and then really focus on your crew weight, I think that should be a thing for next time. And every single maneuver, especially if it gets light, you won't have to worry about, oh, did the battens flip or did anything else happen, because you did a lift. Everything's going to work fine. Boat's just going to be strolling along, and you won't have all the other issues that you were fighting with before, because you were just sailing the boat. So next time, make sure you have your tape markings on there. I would, if it's dry, or at some point, if it's dry, I would take a marker and go to the boat, and I would write. I would do like a 20 centimeter line, and then every 2 centimeters, I would put a number in, and just do it. And then we can take it away, remove it with acetone at some point. It'll be removed, and it comes off at some point anyway. But just put something there, and get a few different numbers there, so you know where it's supposed to be, and try to get it equally on the same side or on each side. So, and if you can put markings on the sheets where you're sort of in the middle, then it's going to be good. But do the weights, figure out the starting line, the starts. I still want to be 3 minutes before the start. I want to be here 2 minutes before. I'd like to be there 1 minute before the start, pretty much around here. So I'm close to the ley line that I want to be at. And then depending on what boat type, that's the distance. If you have your Velocitech, ping your marks every time something is changed, so you know I'm at 40 meters from the line or something like that, and then start using it a lot. There is a lot to gain from using that. That's it, what I've got. You guys have anything?
Question?
Yeah.
Why do you want to be here 2 minutes before the start? Because couldn't you also just do a loop on the left side or the right side of the course and then come up like that?
Problem is, if I'm out here, I do a loop. All of a sudden, the breeze drops. Something happens. I don't have a safe. I cannot say, oh fuck, I need to just go to the line. Here, I'm inside that zone. I can always say, oh, this happens, or there's more breeze. Okay, I'll just stay further away. As soon as I'm out here, I'm committed. This is my only starting area I can be at, and there's no other option. Here I have all the options, like, oh, fuck, wind just shift to the left. I need to be here. I can adjust something. Here, done. So it's pretty much just to have my options open at all times, because in that start, there's so many other things going on, and you won't necessarily be focused on that. And the decision to all of a sudden go to the left, to the pin end, it's always going to be late. It's always going to be like, ah, fuck, we need to go here.
So when do you go out in the green zone? Because you would always prefer that, right? What you call the green zone on this side, on the left side of that.
I like to be, well, I actually like this. This is my green zone. This is where I'd like to be. Okay. And this is sort of we're getting into a yellow again, because this gets difficult.
To the other boats, would you not do that going out there, so you can do the half wind in? And
I would not do half wind in from here. No, never. It's very dangerous. It's so 3 minutes before here. 3 minutes, that's not a problem. Nobody's gonna force you to do anything here. Yeah, there might be a boat come up, like, okay, we'll go around. So that's not a problem. Out here, jibing or tacking, that's gonna be a lane of boats when you get to a big fleet.
Yeah.
Then you have boats out here that'll be tacking early or later or something, and then you're like, I want to go behind boat 42. And you go here, and you pick your spot to go up. That's my start. That's how I really want to be.
Okay, it's just because in the beginning I heard you say that you would do a half lane with getting more speed. You would go 5 knots. This boat would only be 3, and then you would, even though you were second row, you would be able to.
Yeah, so that's when I'm out here. When I end up out here, it's pretty much, it doesn't matter where you are on the line. Let's say we're here. If I have a boat down to the left of me,
so you could always do
I would always just build my way up. I will do everything I can to get distance.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Until last 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then I can bow down. Even I would rather be slow at the start and have that distance, because I've got 4 minutes this direction where I can always build my speed. As long as I can come down, I can get clear of the other boats up here. I just need to be up there. Much rather be slow to windward with the distance to the left, because I can always just bow down a little bit more, or decide I need to go down there, and then go full speed at them. Starting down here and having a big distance to windward of me with the boat there, that's why I would say I lost the start. Then I need to figure out, when can I tack? And there's a full fleet up here, and like, okay, so you're completely screwed, depending on what kind of boat type you have. Some boats you can do that quick double tack. Other boats you have to just bow out and continue. Here on J70s and J80s, that start of just, if you're in doubt, keep to the right. It's key.
Yeah.
Always keep working to the right. That's also why you have the jib furled. You can go closer to the wind with the jib furled in.
Yeah.
So you can really build your way up there. If the traveler is all the way to the right, you stay up there. The call, as soon as let's say you're on ley line out here, you're jibing or you're tacking, it doesn't matter for me what you do. The call is always high build. Furl jib all the way up as high as you can go. And then from there you can work. If you go around and then you're sort of, we need to be higher, and then you start going up, you already lost the first 4 lengths to windward of you. So, if anything, going around, high build. Be careful of when you turn the boat around that you over trim the jib. The jib needs to be a little bit loose. If the jib or the mainsail is completely pulled in, you're going to go like this, and then the boat slides. You really don't want that. So a little bit loose jib, of course, following you in to get all the way up there if you have the jib out. If you over trim the main, it's going to be like a slow, and it's difficult to get the boat moving after that. So be nice with that. Same when you get the kite down and you're rounding the bottom mark. If the jib is pulled all the way in, it's difficult going around. It would be nice to get that sorted out. I don't have a lot of other things, but talk to me. Call me. Yeah.
If you wanted to do the 2 tacks, would you still do them like slow and?
Yeah, I would.
Never do.
The problem is you feel like you wanna. Oh fuck, that's a tack. So you end up being slow here, and then you tack, and you don't go all the way down and get your speed because I want to go over here. That means so you're tacking slow, coming out here slow, and the boat's coming quickly. Slow. Then you're going to be really slow. So you have to have enough distance to say, okay, full on, full roll. So you have to get that speed to do it. You cannot do just a little bit. You can do that before the start. You can do that a minute before the start or 30 seconds before the start when you just want to move up a little bit because everybody's slow. You can do a sort of you just have to remember that as soon as you pass head to wind, you have no rights to anything. down here. Here's a starboard boat coming at you. You have to, even from pass head to wind to full upwind, you have no rights whatsoever. You have to be all the way down to full upwind. Then you have rights again.
So you'll be here in 2 weeks on the 18th?
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
I have a question. The in-haul.
Yeah.
Always the in-haul. How often will you use that also in high wind?
Yeah.
Because, you use it all the time.
Yeah. Even look at the...
Because it's the angel and not... Yeah.
When you're above 28 knots, then you start not doing it.
Okay.
Look at the North Sails trim guide. It's very accurate of what you want to do. And they're discussing how many inches in from that curvature.
Yeah.
Indhold, the opposite jib sheet. Det er modsatte fokusskud, så du kan flå den ind. Ja, den skal have ret meget. I would probably do they're talking from half an inch to 2 inches in from that corner.
Yeah.
2 inches, that's like that, not this much in.
Was that on the J70? Or
That's a J70, J80 also likes it, but we're talking way less.
Okay.
So on the J...
So the trim guide actually refers to that, even though that the boat is not really set up for it.
Yeah. The trim guide definitely refers to that, because the trim guide is sailmakers. That's like, how do we get this boat to sail? Doyle has a different setup. North Sails have a different setup, and they build their jibs or trim or do the whole setup according to how they want it and how to sail the boat. The thing is, when it's high wind or there's a lot going on. We're talking about in the old days you had Fremantle, you had big Genoas, very small mains. As soon as the breeze picked up, you would scoop the jib cart further back and you would twist it open and you would sort of sit there with the rudder or drive it all the way down to put load on the head sail. We're very different in the way we sail today. We want to go higher and not put that load on it because we have the big mainsail and the small jib. So now our jib is a stabilizer instead of back then where the Genoa was our speed. So we changed a lot in that. So we went much further in on the jib, and when we put the jib further in, we can drive closer to the wind. And when we drive closer to the wind, we don't have as much pressure directly on the sails or the boat that makes the boat heel over too much. So that's pretty much what we're doing. We're just making sure that you can sail 3 or 4 degrees closer to the wind than you could before. So you might be slower, but your end velocity, your end VMG is much better because we're bringing everything in, the mainsail in, and then twisting it open. And you're driving with the lower tailtails. And in the heavier breeze, you're probably not using 1/3 of your sail, maybe half of the sail is just sort of open. But as soon as you don't use the inhauler, you close off the sail. You don't have that distance between the mainsail and the jib. You're driving 4 degrees lower because you don't have it inhauled on the tailtail. That means the wind is much more directly on the sail. The boat heels over more. You want to depower the mainsail, so you open up the mainsail, you close that slot on the jib. As soon as you open the mainsail, the headstay, the front of the jib, opens up more. And if you take the headsail and you open up in the middle of it, the back end of the jib closes even more. So now you have no spot at all for the wind to actually remove from the jib, and the wind goes directly into that point. It means the boat heels over even more, depower even more. So to avoid that circle, we're bringing everything in at the bottom and then twisting everything open so we can drive closer to the wind and avoid that situation of just easing more and more and more. Yeah.
The guide says actually if you go 90% of the time it's 9 centimeters on J70 and 5 centimeters on the J80.
Yeah. Pretty accurate.
Yeah, exactly what you do, and also what if you ask Copilot and make a list, calculate with angles and everything. So.
Altid, always 9 centimeters.
Yeah.
It's like 90% of the time.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot. It is quite a lot.
I think det er skridmønster. Jeg ved ikke, hvad det hedder.
Ja.
Du kan simpelthen måle det på
På ruftaget, ikke?
Ja.
På blokken. Ja.
skridmønster, ja.
Det er ret meget.
Men det er vigtigt, at du har en åben oppe i toppen.
Ja, det må ikke lukke.
Så,
Hvis du tog i gamle dage, der Quantum Series, de vandt sindssygt meget i de gamle dage på de 70'erne, men det var også fordi Terry Hodgson han styrede. Der var ingen, der kunne finde ud af at sejle med den båd. Fordi de lavede simpelthen bare fuldstændig lukket fug og lukket storsejl. Og så du skulle styre lige præcis der. Sejle som en kanon. Det er snart, du var en lille smule udenfor. Glem det. Ingen, der kunne sejle med det lort. Og det er det, vi også skal huske. Jamen, er vi dygtige nok rorsmænd til at holde den lige afgrædt i det der spor? Eller skal vi have en lille smule forgivning? Okay.
Før talte vi engelsk, nu taler vi...
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Hvem er, who's English speaking here? Because we do
Yeah.
that, yeah. This is also a question. So more power in the bottom in all time, more or less, and then more
Open in the
twist.
top, yeah.
Because we are sheeting in very much, and then there's still a lot of power and it's opening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we like.
Yeah.
That's also why we end up having a very deep in the bottom jib, right?
Yeah, and often we forget, we could often sheet it further back in the bottom to avoid that. And then because of how the rings and everything is set, you often get that extra stupid twist in. That means the lower foot of the jib actually goes too much windward of what we really want to. And to assist a little, especially on the older jibs, to assist that a little bit, we have to move the jib card further back. Remember, then you're getting out of the tack. You're putting your jib sheet to where it's supposed to be. That's also why we do have the tape markings. Put the jib sheet where it's supposed to be. Go to the other side, get that speed, and then then bring it in. So we're not if you go and you do your tack and then you pull too much, and then you do your inhaler, it's just going to ruin the boat.
Yeah.
So it's really important we have those.
So you don't need to ease the sheet when you're doing the pump.
No.
No.
It's just pulling it there, dunk,
And then you do the inhaler.
and then you do the inhaler. Yeah.
It's a good trick.
On the J80 from
Yeah.
Niva, we had the twist, as you said, the ring,
Yeah.
twist the bottom.
Yeah.
Then we took the one sheet and tied it to the other sheet instead, and that worked.
Yeah.
Then it didn't twist.
Yeah. But that means you need more room.
Yeah.
The problem is you don't
Yeah,
have
but it
enough
was
room on
actually
yours.
better when you're very tight knot.
Yeah.
Forstår I, hvad jeg prøver at sige? Hvis man har begge skøder i ringen, så vil indhale ligesom dreje
Lave
undersiden og
sådan en-
lave en mærkelig krølle, og det er pisseirriterende.
Ja.
Så er det bedre at binde den ene skøde rigtig stramt,
Ja.
og så det andet skøde i det første skøde. Også når man så vender, så fungerer det stadigvæk, men det er klart, hvis det er to lange lykker, så har man ødelagt det hele. Hvis man strammer virkelig tæt, virkelig burde man gøre ligesom på J70, så man har et lille stykke snor, og så kommer skøderne, ikke? Men man kan bare, fordi det ødelægger det fuldkommen. Hvis du laver indhal med sådan 2 snore i, så ødelægger det helt på.
Så I
Der-
har ikke det der lille ned til blokken?
Ikke på 80'erne.
Nej.
Så
På
det,
niveau
du siger,
siger
den
den.
lavere twistet, det er, når du laver indhæl.
Ja.
Ja, det gør den
Fordi
nemlig.
der er sådan en stålring i, og så bliver det sådan her. Så vender den hele bunden der.
Ja.
Det er ret ødelæggende.
Ja. På mange andre både, on a lot of the other boats, we put in a T-ring, or just so the sheet goes, and then it actually just pulls on a pin where the ring is in here, and then on the opposite there's a pin that sort of stabilizes it. But that's actually just to talk to the sailmakers, because I don't think there's a rule of that particular fitting, other than there should be one, but it could also be put in a different way. Yeah. Perfect.
Tak for det.
Tak for i dag.
Ja.
Fandme hyggeligt.
Det er pisse.
Ja. Fede mennesker, altså. Jeg skal lige så